Everyone, hope all of you are doing great. So this is where we left in the last video. We had built all the utility functions. If you haven't watched, make sure to watch that. I will link an I button in the description. And this video, we're going to simply test that, okay? So this is where we left. We have done all the settings, all the modification in the contract and the contract function itself. So let me open the terminal. So let me open up the terminal and let's split it out and let's try and deploy the contract. So we'll learn our local blockchains, npx hard at node, and here we go to run the deploy script. And currently we are deploying only one contract, which is this single swap. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. Here we have initialized that. We have cleared our artifacts, no more artifacts we have. Now we have to simply run the deploy script. So this is the script we are running. Click on enter and the contract is getting deployed. Just wait. So compile successfully, and here we have the address of the contract which we got it. Simply grab that one, go to the context, and in that we have this single swap token and replace this one with this. And now we have to drag and drop the ABI of the contract. So this is the single swap. Simply grab that one and paste it here. Move it. So this looks fine to me. And now we can start our application. So we'll type, let's say something like npm run dev, hit enter. And click on this 3000. Here we are. And here you can see the application is working fine. We got our MetaMask open and here we can easily able to connect. So we go to connect with account 2. Click on next, connect, and here we are back. Reload the browser to see things are looking fine. Yes, it is. Let's do the console log and let's see that do we have any error. No more error we have into this. And here we can see that the balance of the VET token and the DAI token is getting updated. If we click on this, here you can see we have all the token we have defined and their balances are also displaying. But I want that this is the name. So I want to display the symbols. I want to display the name here. So let's fix this one. And that's we can do it very easily. Let's come here. This is the one we have here. And where we have the token list, get into the components. We have the token list. Inside that, here we add. So instead of name, what we're going to do is we'll type symbol, and here we'll type the name. Actually, I have name and save it. If you click, now you can see we have the token symbols and we have the name. So it looks fine to me. Now that looks pretty good. And now if we click here you can see that we have hard coded this token data, but we want to display these tokens, not these demo data. So let's fix this one. Let's come here, go back to the code, and let's close this one. And now we have to go back into the search one. Close this one. This is the search token. Get into the hero section. Into that, we have to receive the data. So right now we are receiving these data from our context, single swap token, correct wallet, account, ether, and DAI. But we need more. So close this one and come back to the context. And we need the data itself, the token data. That's what we go to pass it here. We need the token data. We need the two functions we have created, get price and set price. And here we go to pass the two functions. We need the swap price as well. And that's what we're going to pass it here. So that looks pretty fine. We have the data. And where else I've used this one? So here I'm also getting in the form of props. But what I will do, I'll simply remove this one. I don't want to get it as a prop. Okay. So we have the data. And that's data we are receiving here. And for the time, that data we are receiving here. And that's the data we're going to pass. And that data we are receiving here. And this data we are passing into our, let's say, search component. Here we are passing. If we save it, this might fix this issue. So come back to the browser. And if I click here, you can see right now we have all the token we have defined. No, we don't have that. So I know why it's not working. So here we have the data. We have sent the, and here we have the data. We have sent this data to our search component. Now we can get into the search component. Click on this. And here we are receiving this data, token data. That's what I have called. Yeah, token data. And instead of this coin, we're going to run this data. Simply close this one. And here we have the actual data. We're going to simply replace this and save it. If we do that, if you click, you can see here we have the data. It's working fine. And we have to do the changes here as well. So let's come here and where we are displaying the name. So this is the name we have. So here we can display the symbols. Symbol, save it, come back to the browser and you can see, reload the browser. Reload the browser, click on this. And it's repeating twice, okay? It's repeating twice, we can fix that easily. So let's come here. And to fix this, all you have to do is come back to the token list. We have already created the function. Come back to the token list. And you can see this is the small script we have written. So we grab that one. And that's what we're going to call it here. So here we are receiving the data. We're going to pass that to this. And simply grab this one, copy, paste here. And this is the one we'll take it. And that's what we're going to render here. So make sure to do the changes. So once you save it, you can see the problem is gone. Now you can click and you can see the token names are displaying. It's pretty huge. If you click on this, you can see the token names are displaying. And here we have to do the changes. So we can easily get that. So with this, we are done. Actually, we need a data. So we have this data. Now what I can do is here you can see here we are sending only two data. We are sending the name and the image, but we need more data. Like a symbol, we need a balance, we need the addresses. So we have all this data. We'll say define say less symbol, and the symbol we have into this symbol. We have the symbols. Now we have the other one we want to take is token balance. And then we have this token balance. Now we need the address, and that we have inside this element. So these are the data we are receiving into this token. This looks fine. And that's the only changes we have to do for the time being. That looks fine. Let me have a look. Do we need to do any changes? No, I think so. So things look good. So if we come back to the hero section, what you will find in that, and here we have to do a little bit changes in the data modeling. So we are receiving a lot of data. So we'll come here, and instead of name and image, we need more data here, because you can see here we are passing multiple data. Where it is, here we are passing symbol, token balance, and token address. So we need that. So let's grab one by one. So we'll take the symbols, come back here, and we'll say initially it's going to be empty. What else we need? We need the token balance. We need the addresses. So we got this data. So now simply grab this one and do the same thing for the other token as well. So here we have the data. Now we'll simply scroll down and we'll find a place where we're displaying the data. So this is the first input we have, and this is the place where we're going to call the two function we have created. So if you come here we have to display the pricing and the updated pricing, the swap they will get. So that's the function we're going to create right up here. So let's come here. Let's create the function right up here. So we'll say call output. It's going to be async function. It will take the UE value. We got the value. Here we have to define a couple of variables like a deadline, slippage, and the account address. And as we are connected with the forknet, so need to find a real address which actually has any one of these tokens. So this is the address which I have found. Later we're going to make it dynamic for the individual person who's connected with this application, but for the development purpose, I have found an account who has each of this token. Okay, so let me take a variable. So we'll say your account, and here I'm going to define the wallet address. And the address we have, if you go into the test, if you go to the test script, so when we were testing the contract, we got, if you go into the test in the liquidity sections, you can see this is the address we have taken. This is the real address on the mainnet, and this address has all of these tokens. So I'll simply grab this one, and that's the address I'm going to utilize it here. So I pasted the address, and now I have to define the deadline. So I'll take a deadline, and I will go with the hardcode value right now. I'll take, say, 10 is the deadline, and I want to define the slippage. The slippage would be something like slippage. You can define whatever number you want. So I'll go with something like, let's say, 25% slippage. These are the three data we are passing, and now we're going to simply call the function. So we'll say con, and I will say data. We have the function called await, we have swap price, and in that we have to simply pass the data. So we are getting this value. So we have the value, we have the slippage, we have the deadline, we have the your account, and that's the data we are passing. Once we get the data, we have to simply set the data. So here we have to take a couple of variables. So we'll come here, go up here, and we have to set that as a variable. So here we have taken already these three data. So let's come here. We'll say use state snippet, and the first one would say something like token swap output. This will be 0, and we'll take another one. This will become the pool message. It will be a string, and we have to define a variable called search, and this will be false. So these are the three states we have taken. Now we can come here and we'll take another one. So we have to take from, and we have to take one more variable. So we'll take another one. This will become something like swap amount, and this will be initially 0 because it's going to be from the user. So user will provide it that how many ether, how many, and swap amount. So they're going to provide you the amount which they want to show. These are the variables we have taken: swap output, pool message, search, and swap amount. So the user will provide you the amount that how many token they want to shop, and that's what we're going to store into this state. So that looks pretty fine. And now we can simply come here with the function we have created. So here we are, and once we get that, we're going to simply call this set token output, and that we're going to simply pass the data. So we want to take the data like the token we have. So we have the data, and then we want to take the first data. So this data will come in the form of array, and we are taking the first element into that array. So let's console log of the array. We're going to check this. So we are setting up the value. That's fine to me. And here we're going to simply call this set. We have to display our loader. Okay. So we'll say set search, and then we have to turn this to false. That looks fine. That's the one function. Now here we're going to call the second function. So we'll say this contract, and it will say pool address address. Remember, this is the function we have created. So if we come back here in the utilities, you will find that this is the function we have created, fetching price. Okay. In this we have to pass the amount, and we have to pass the, that's what we are passing, and at the end we are returning these three data: amount, output, symbols, and the token. So hope these things make sense. Now let's come here into the functions, and here we have to provide the pool address. So if you visit Uniswap, there are multiple pools in different tokens, but the pool I'm taking is the WETH, the ETH, and the DAI. Right now we are going with the face value, but we'll make it dynamic. So here we have to provide the address of the pool. So I have already that pool address. I will simply paste here. Just follow along with me. Everything will make sense. And we'll take another one variable. We'll say pool DAT data. In that we're going to call this await get price function. In that we have to pass the value we are getting from the user, and we have to pass the pool address. So once we have that, now we're going to simply construct the message. So here we can say message, and the message will be something like take a template literal, and then we'll take this dollar sign, we'll take the value the user is providing, value, and here we have to display the pool. So we have to take the pool data which has all the data. So let's make it capital. This looks better. And this also become a capital. Pool data, we have the pool data, and we want to take a element number 2 because it will come in the form of array. Remember, we are passing 2, and we have to take the element number 2. So the price, and here we want to display the other one is going to be something like let's come here, and here we have to take another data. So we'll have this pool DAT data. In that we have to take the second, so we have to take the first element and the one, and that's going to be our message, the message we want to display. So once we have that, now all we have to do is simply set the message, set the pool message, and then we're going to simply pass the message. So that's the entire function. Hope this entire things make sense to all of you. If it's still confusing, everything will make sense. Just wait and follow along with me. And now we have to simply call out this function. So the function we're going to call right up here. Right up here. Where is the first input we have? Here we're going to call the functions. So here we're going to use this on change. In that we're going to define the E, and here we're going to call all the functions. Because take this bracket because we want to call multiple functions. So first thing we're going to call this call, and then we have to pass the value. So we'll pass this e.target.value. So this is the first function we have. Now we have to take the second one. We have to set the amount, swap amount. So the variables we have taken here. So if you come here, this is the amount we have taken. So this is swap amount. So we copy that, and that's what we have to set here. So where it is. Okay, here we are. So we come here and simply pass that. So e.target.value. We got that. 2 functions. And now we have to simply open the search. Because we have to show our loader. So we'll set search to true, true, and that looks pretty good. That's the one change you have to do. And here we are displaying the balance. So that looks fine. And here we have to do the change. So here instead of displaying the name, we have to display the symbols. So we have the symbols, and do the same thing for the other one as well. So simply grab that one, and here we have to display the symbols. And here we're going to display the price, and here we have to display the actual balance. So we'll call this token dot token balance 1. Copy that and do the same thing from here as well. So where is the second token balance we have? Here we are displaying the die, paste here, and this will become 2. Remove this comma. Because refactoring is the most difficult thing. When you do refactoring, that's takes a lot of work because you have to know every single variables, and you have to find every single place where we want to do the changes. So that's the changes we have done, and now we have to display the data. So this is the first input field we have where we are getting the data, and here we have the second input field, and here we want to make it a little bit dynamic. So what I'm going to do into the second input field, so we're going to simply comment this, and in here I'm going to display the output, the token output the user will get. So in that I will take a p tag, and inside the p tag I'm going to take a dynamic tag, and it will say search if. Then we want to display this. So in that we're going to display the image. So simply come here. We have to grab the image, the loading image we want to take. Simply copy, and that's what I'm going to simply paste here. And the ratio I want to make it something like 100 into 40. So a little smaller. And this will call loading. Else we want to display the message. Else we have to display the output price. So we'll say token swap output, which we are getting. So if you come here, we're getting from here. We are assigning to this. Where it is, we're assigning to this, and then we are displaying to our component. So that looks pretty fine. So that's our dynamic block, and let's save it out. And I believe that I don't have the images, so what I can do, I can simply come here, replace this one, and here I have to get the images. So let me get that quickly. So I'll come here, close this component, go into my assets folder. So here I have this loading image. That's what I'm going to do. So let's come here, let me quickly import it. So I'll say import loading, and that's coming from loading. That's a zip, and that's what I have to simply export it. This looks fine to me. Now I can come here, and here I can use this loading. This looks pretty good. So this is the changes we have done here, and we need to display this function price or the pool price. So where it is, there are so many codes we have written. So we are done with this swap output, and we are getting these functions, and we are getting the data and displaying. Now we have to the data we are getting from here, like the message we have built. This one we have to display, and that's we can display right up here. So simply scroll all the way down to account section here, and here we're going to take a dynamic block. We'll say search if in that we're going to display our loader. So the loader we have already built. So simply grab this one. Simply grab this entire component. Copy this entire component, and that's what we're going to simply replace here. So that's the component we have, search component. But instead of displaying this data, we want to display the pool message. Pool message. And this looks fine. This looks fine. Okay, so I believe you have done all these changes. So we have this import, we have our token, this is the context, we have these are the three variables we have taken, and this is the pool message. We have simply grabbed that one, and that's what I'm displaying here. Not pool data, we have to display pool message. So this looks fine. This is the swap amount. Swap amount we have to pass, and this amount we're going to pass. Can you guess where we have to pass this amount? So where we are calling the swap function. So the function we are calling right up here. In this we have to pass the amount, and in this we have to pass the address of the token, and we have to pass the amount. So if you come to the constructor, as I told you that this is how we're going to construct the data of the address, and let's pass it here. So if we come here, and here we have to pass, so all the data we have inside this, all the data we have in this tokens, token 1, token 2, and token 1. So this entire data we're going to send, and we're going to access this data. So let's come here, and where it is, so okay, here it is. And this we're going to take an object and we'll say token 1, and this will become token 1. We'll take a token 2, and this will become token 2, and here we have to set the swap amount, and that's it. This looks pretty fine to me. Let's come back to the applications and reload the browser. Let's see, have a look. Do we have any error? Okay, so object are not a valid React child. So I was stuck for half an hour and tried to find out the problem we are having in the code, and this is the very silly mistake I had done. So let me show you what I have done. So make sure to change this to number. Okay, this input was text, I changed this to number, and here you are calling, so and here we are calling this value. So earlier what I did, I wrapped this entire data into this bracket, and when I saved it, I was getting that error. This is the error. So make sure to do these changes here, remove this bracket, put the value directly, and do the same thing for here, the pool message, and that's the only change you have to do. Simply save it, come back to the browser, and we have no more error. So let's refresh the browser and let's try to have a look. So things looking good. Let's do the clear your MetaMask, otherwise it will throw an error message. So I'll click here, I'll go to the settings, and from here I can go to the advanced, click on and simply reload the browser. So this looks pretty fine. If you click here, you can easily able to find the balances we have. We have the DAI token and the other tokens are into 0. So it's also looking fine. And if I try, let's do the console log and let's try to see what data we get in return. And just wait, the data is coming. It's loading. Okay, so we have problem in our swap update price. And maybe we have installed the wrong package. And I was stuck for a while to find out the problem. And this is what I have found, that we need other package, different package version. So let's quickly install this and reinstall the version we need. Uninstall this one. Simply clear terminal, and this is the version we have to install. So 2.5.30, and install this one. Hit enter. And one thing you have to keep in mind, that version is very important. You have to install the exact version if you really want to things work. So make sure to use the exact version which we are using in this project if you really want your code to be working. No matter what time you are building this project, whether you are building after 2 years of publish, make sure to use the exact version. Here the package got installed. Let me clear the terminal, and now we can have a look. So things are looking pretty good to me. No more problem we have into this, and now we can test this out. So let's come back to the applications, and here we are. Now you can see this is how it will look. Simply reload the browser. I don't know why my styling's got disturbed. Let's make it full screen. And here everything's working fine. So something what happened, that when you uninstall any packages, some major changes take place into your code. So in that scenario, it's always better that you should restart the application and everything will be working fine. So here you can see our code is working fine. We have no more error in the browser, and now we can test this out. So if we come here, you can see no more error we have, and we are using this version of packages. Now simply close this one, and this function is really good to me, and this is the swap token. Simply close all of this, because now it's time to test whatever we have written so long. So let's come here in the browser and let's try to type. So if we type 2, it's loading and we'll get an output. So let me do the inspect element. So see if we get an error, and just a moment. Still it's loading because we are fetching, and here you can see we got an array. This is the data we got. This is the 2 data we have console logout, and this is an object we have got. The price of the pool. You can see this is the price of the pool we have got. That's what we have defined. Everything's working fine. Everything's working fine. You can see everything's working fine. So everything was working fine. So if you come back to the code, go to the utility sections, into this fetch pricing, and that's what we are passing this 3 data. And that's what we are getting here. That's what we are getting here. The 3 data in the form of array. And here we are getting the data from our 2 utility functions. So the first function we have is swap output price. So if you provide 2 ether, you will get this much output of DAI. And here we are getting this liquidity pool. So if you provide 2 with, you will get this much of DAI token. So everything's working fine. You can see we are displaying all the data right up here. That looks fine. What I can do, if I reload, you can type any number. So we all know that 1 ether is equal to 1300 something DAI token. So if I type like something 1, if I type 1, you will see this data is dynamic based on the value which you provide. So this is the DAI token we'll get in return. And just wait, the pool data is also coming fine. So this is our pool data. We got it. So I want to swap token from with to DAI. Let's click on DAI. And don't need to worry about this pricing. Actually, we are using this one because the address of the coin which we have into our MetaMask, which we get from the hard hat, and this is both same. But we are taking the instead of this, and then we are doing the swap of this DAI. And now I want to swap like 2. It's loading. Actually, I want to adjust this loader right in the center. I'll do it very quickly. Just wait. Let's see the output, what we get. And here we get the expected output we get in 2 ether. This much DAI we'll receive. Let's have a look of the other DAI pools data. And just wait, it's taking a little bit of time. Now here we have it. So if we click on the swap, here we have the MetaMask popped up, and we can simply do the swap of the token. So right now we are sending this to Ether. We can click on this confirm, and here you can see the modification we have done. It's also working fine to a smart contract. So this is the confirmation. We are allowing our smart contract to spend the Ether on behalf of us, and here we have the last confirmation we have to do. And just wait, let's click on confirm, and the transaction went through. Just wait, let me open the console, and you will see the updated price. So here you can see it came in the big form of big number, and transaction.wait is not a function. Okay, somehow the transaction failed. The error we got. Now let's reload the browser and let's see. Do we have the transaction failed? Click on this with. We have the, let's see, on the DAI token, and the transaction actually went successful. If we come back to the code, the transaction went successful. So all the things are working fine. Let's come back here, go to this swap context, and here we got an error message. So it says the transaction. Okay, this is the entire log we are displaying, but the transaction went successful. Right? It was showing that. Let's do the one more time. What I wanted. Let's click on the with, click on the other token. It's DAI, and let's do the swap. If we want to have an output of 2 DAI, let's see how much we get. An output. And you can see this is the output we get in terms of DAI. All the data is updating. Just wait, and let's have the other data. So here we got the data, 2 DAI, 2 WET equal to itna DAI. And now we can click on swap token. You can see this is the amount we have passed. Now just wait, to Ether, click on confirm. Here we have the another one. Now we have to simply confirm this, allow our Uniswap contract to take our token. Now we have to click on this. The last one is this one. Now click on this confirm. And here you can see the transaction, it's happening. Here it says the transaction.wait is not a function. Okay, I made a spelling mistake here. It's W-I-T-H, wait, it's not A. And that's why we are getting an error. So if I come here, it's wait. W-A-I-T, wait. Okay, I believe that you guys have noticed that. Now let's have a look one more time. Okay, no. So click on this and let's do the transaction one more time. You can see the transaction went through. And this is how the development works, buddy. If you feel that we are making a lot of mistakes, but that's not the big deal. This is how you develop. So you can see we got this much DAI. Now if we want, I can simply type 1 and I'll get the output. Just wait. It's loading. And here we get the output. The output we get. This is the addresses. We got it from fetch pricing of the 2 contract. And this is the output we get. Now we can click on the swap. And here we have the MetaMask. Let's do the transaction. Let's confirm it. Let's click on confirm. Here we have the MetaMask. Simply click on confirm. And the transaction went successful. You can see here we got the transaction log, the balance of the DAI token. And this is the transaction, the successful transaction. You can easily able to test on a. If you're doing on a test network, you can easily able to find this on a Etherscan. So this looks pretty fine. If you reload the browser, you can able to find the DAI token here. Let's make on full screen. You can see this data is also getting updated. Okay, this will take a little bit of time. You can see this is the data we updated. And now we want to do the swap between the, let's say, Matty to WET. Okay, so what I can do, I can simply select this, not Matty, I will select this WET, and let's check and do this time Matty. Click on this too. This will update the pricing and it will give us that how much Matty coin we'll get back in return. This much Matty coin we'll get back. Now if we want to swap, all we have to do is to click on this swap. Here we have the MetaMask popped up. Click on this. Here we are confirming the deposit. Click on this confirm. Here we have to click on this approve. So sometimes MetaMask will pop up, sometimes it will not. So make sure to always click. You can see right now I have to confirm it manually. So click on confirm and the transaction is happening. behind the scene. So just wait. Here the swaps got completed. No more error, we got it. So let's have a look in the console. Everything's looking fine. This is the entire object we get for the transaction. That looks pretty awesome to me. And if we come here, if we try to reload the browser, we're going to change this behavior from reloading every time. We're going to fix that. If you click on this, and here you can see I got this Matic coin. But you have noticed one thing, here you have 2872 Matic coin, but the output we got was close to 25 something, and that happened because we have fixed the addresses of the two token. So if you come here into the contract, if you go into the swap utilities, here you will find that here we are hard coding the address of the two token. This is the WETH and this is the DAI token. So the output pricing we're getting, the output pricing you are getting between these two tokens. So it's very easy. I believe that you guys can do this very easily. All you have to do to pass the token. So right now we have swapped between WETH to Ether. All you have to do is to take that address and pass into these functions. So right now here we are receiving this through data. All you have to do is to receive these token addresses and it will work in the same way. Okay. So for the time being, I just leave it like this. But later we're going to change it at the end. So this one is also working fine. Now let's do the final test. Let's do the final test because I really like it. You can see we have this DAI coin. Now if I come here, reload the browser, everything's working fine. This time I want to have some, if I come here, if I want to take this WETH and if I want to so right now I have this, and if I want to get them other coins, so if I want to get this FTX, right now I have 0 into this. If I pass 2, it will give me the FTX. So here you can see it's getting the prize, and just wait. It's taking a little bit of time, and here we are. If we click on this swap, you can see we got the MetaMask. Now we can click on confirm. We can click on this. We can have to approve it, and here we have to approve it one more time. Here the transaction is pending. It's happening, and just wait. It's depositing and the transaction went successful. If you reload the browser and if you have a look, the FTX coin, so if you click on this FTX, you can see how much FTX you have. You have this much FTX. If you click on this data is also get updated, this much FTX. So everything's working fine. Everything's working fine. So you can get any token with the help of ETH. And that's what we have defined in the contract. So that's looking fine to me. Close this one. And if we come to the context, here we have done all the important modification into the contract. That looks absolutely wonderful for me. Okay. So hope this makes sense to all of you guys. And we have to do a little bit more modification into these functions to make it 100% industry ready, okay? But for the time being, that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. Hope you guys have understood everything. And now from the next video, we can start working on the liquidity section. So we're going to use V3 SDK. We're going to upload all the smart contract of Uniswap. We're not going to use the existing Uniswap smart contract, which is already uploaded into mainnet. What we're going to do is, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to import all the contract of the Uniswap V3, and that's what we're going to deploy locally. So we'll have enough Ether for the testing. So we're going to deploy the entire Uniswap contract locally, and then we're going to build the entire function around that. So once we'll have the entire function ready, then we can move to the mainnet, testnet, wherever you want. Okay. So we're going to do it locally, and at the end we're going to move with this. I'm ending this video. Hope you guys have found this video valuable. If you still have any confusion, any doubt, do leave in the comment section. Rewatch the video. The code is provided to you. If you get any error, make sure to follow the exact NPM packages. Visit the GitHub repo, get the code, and try to compare your code. You can see everything is working fine here in this contract. With that, let's move to the next video.